Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
I'm afraid. Bai Ruowei never dreamed that she would lose so miserably. Originally, according to her script, she should have brutally transformed Demon Chen. The result was the other way around, and he was severely punished. She lost miserably, but she won happily. But what surprised her even more was that at this moment, she could clearly feel that there was a large amount of life energy in her body that was nourishing her body, making her younger, her skin tighter, and her mind broader, and is slowly improving her cultivation. Nowadays, her cultivation level is showing a faint trend of breakthrough. Beiyuan essence is so effective. Leng family, secret room. A wave of spirit chi suddenly appeared, causing a wave of waves, and the pressure of the 5th grade War Master disappeared in a flash. How could the 5th level of the Desolate Gu Sutra be broken through so easily? I'm the 5th grade War Master now? Leng Ruobing opened her eyes and looked at herself in amazement, looking dazed and full of disbelief. Ever since she returned home from Chen's house yesterday, she felt a huge surge of life energy suddenly emerge from her body, rapidly nourishing her body. In the face of that terrifying energy, even the 5th level of Desolate Gu Sutra that had been blocking her was easily broken through. In just one night, she directly reached the 5th grade level. Such a breakthrough speed is truly amazing. You know, in Leng Ruobing's expectation, if he wanted to break through to the 5th grade War Commander, even if he had sufficient resources, he would not be able to do it without 3 or 4 years of hard training. But now it is achieved so easily. But the problem is that she didn't take any heaven and earth spirit medicine yesterday. Otherwise, how could she have such a violent reaction? Wait, could it be? Leng Ruobing's pupil shrank, and she suddenly thought of something. Since she had eaten and drank enough at Chen's house, she had hardly had any water or anything else when she returned home. Then, that terrifying life energy suddenly appeared and began to help her break through. Then, the truth is naturally coming out. That terrifying life energy comes from the legendary essence of the North Abyss. You know, after Chen Beiyuan got multiple opportunities one after another, he didn't know how much terrifying energy he contained in his body, which he had not yet completely digested. Although he is not as immortal as the legendary Tang monk meat, his flesh and blood also has terrifying effects. Eating it can maintain youthfulness, prolong life, promote growth, and increase cultivation. And as the old saying goes, 1 drop of essence, 10 drops of blood. The energy contained in it is even more terrifying. It is no exaggeration to say that it is a god of heaven and earth. This is the real reason why a certain little silly dragon only loved essence of the North Abyss and grew so big. Leng Ruobing's cultivation level is very different from Chen Beiyuan's. It is natural and reasonable to have such a terrifying effect. It's really you. Leng Ruobing took out a small bottle from her arms, which contained 5 milliliters of liquid that exuded a white light and was as dazzling as jade. This was something she had secretly collected from Jiang Yunhua before. For a moment, Leng Ruobing, who was in a daze, was thinking a lot, as if he had found a special shortcut. Instead of practicing hard, it is better to take an easier path. Empire Club. Jiang Yunhua, who was lying on the bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep, felt an inexplicable irritability and anger. However, when she looked at her increasingly fair and jade-like, crystal-clear skin, and her younger, more refined, noble and elegant face in the mirror, a hint of obsession and complexity appeared on her face. Damn it, that bad woman Bai Ruowei must have discovered Beiyuan's secret. For Jingu Yukino's proactive invitation, Chen Beiyuan did not refuse in the end, but agreed with great interest. Obviously, he also wanted to see what the darling of the Sakura Kingdom royal family wanted to do. Soon, under the guidance of Jingu Yukino, his vehicle arrived at a very secret, Japanese-style courtyard. However, in this Japanese-style courtyard, he saw another person. Mr. Chen's visit really makes this place shine. Ever since I came to Donghua Empire, I have always wanted to make friends with young talents like Chen Jun, but I have never had the opportunity. Now, As he is about to return to China, it is Fengyuan's honor to be able to see Qin Jun. Xin Gong Fengyuan's face was full of enthusiasm, and he even looked at Chen Beiyuan in front of him with a bit of flattery, with an undisguised surprise on his face. Obviously, he really didn't expect that Yukino would really invite Chen Beiyuan over. Prince Fengyuan is welcome. Chen Beiyuan looked at Shun Gong Fengyuan, who looked enthusiastic and somewhat flattering, with a strange look in his eyes. Immediately, he glanced at Jingu Yukino, who looked calm next to him, and seemed to understand something. I wonder why His Highness Fengyuan asked His Highness Yukino to invite Chen over? Chen Jun, to be honest. Fengyuan asked Sueno to invite you here this time mainly because he hopes to make friends with you and establish a friendship between the two families. If possible, the Shingong family hopes to get help from the Chun family at the critical moment. Jingu Fengyuan said with a serious face. The heir to the Sakura Kingdom royal family obviously also knew about the invasion plan launched by the Edo family and understood that the Sakura Kingdom would definitely attack the Donghua Empire next. That old immortal Edo Rikoshi has been planning for so many years, so there must be a lot of possibilities. Once the Sakura Kingdom can defeat the Donghua Empire and annex it, it will surely become one of the top powers in the world. But once the plan is successful, while Sakura country will benefit, the Edo family will definitely become famous, and even have the ability to abolish the imperial family. At that time, the Jingu family will probably be kicked off the altar and completely lose the remaining power in their hands. But the invasion plan is now the national policy of Sakura country, and countless families are involved, including the Jingu family. I can't stop. So, if the Jingu family wants to continue to hold on to its status, it needs to introduce a strong foreign aid. The Chen family is undoubtedly the best foreign aid. If we can win over the Chen family, it will not only play a great role in the next invasion plan, but also, we can also let the Chen family check and balance the Edo family afterwards. By then, the Jingu family, as the royal family, will undoubtedly be able to sit back and relax. Today, no matter what, Chen Beiyuan must be pulled into the Shingu family's camp, no matter how high the price is. In some aspects, Sakura Kingdom is very similar to Donghua Empire. This is like a son taking after his father, which is normal. However, the difference is that the royal family of the Sakura Kingdom, the Jingu family, is not as powerful as the Donghua Jiang family. They have always been the boss of the empire and have taken the initiative. Instead, they have always been a puppet, with all the power in their hands being used. It's almost divided. Maybe the Jingu family was once glorious, but the past was before and the present is now. In the Sakura country, the Shrine Heavenly Sovereign is the incarnation of the gods in the eyes of countless Sakura people and is the belief of countless people. But in the eyes of those wealthy families, it was something anyone could step on. I'll give you the face to call you Heavenly Sovereign, but if you don't, I'll ask your wife to come over and warm the bed. Among them, the Edo family, as the overlord of the Sakura Kingdom, did an excellent job. Edo Rikoshi expressed his hope more than once that he hoped that the Queen of the Heavenly Sovereign Shrine, known as the most beautiful woman in the Sakura Kingdom, would warm his bed. Although they have never been able to achieve their goals, the Jingu family's face has been stepped on time and time again. For this reason, the Jingu family has always hoped to find someone to check and balance the Edo family. If you want to deal with and frighten a cunning wolf, you need a strong tiger. The Donghua Chen family undoubtedly meets this requirement, especially when Chen Beiyuan single-handedly killed the entire Wu family today, and the Donghua royal family behind the Wu family showed an indifferent attitude. Shengong Fengyuan deeply understood that the Chun family was the tiger they needed. As long as this fierce tiger can be won over, the evil wolf of the Edo family can be further checked. At that time, the Jingu family can sit alone in the middle and sit firmly on the dial. The first step to win over the Chen family is undoubtedly the young master of the Chen family, Chen Beiyuan. With this person's importance, he will definitely be able to influence the entire Chen family. And as long as the Donghua Empire is destroyed, the Chen family will have to rely on the Jingu family to be used by them if they want to integrate into the Sakura Kingdom. When he thought that the glory of the Jingu family's revival might be achieved by his own hands, Jingu Fengyuan became excited and wanted to show off. However, he finally stopped with superhuman determination. I heard that Mr. Chen had conflicts with the Ito family before. To be honest, the Ito family are all rude and rude people. They have always been famous for their savagery, ignorance, and self-righteousness. Even the Jingu family didn't like them, but because of the friendship between their compatriots, they still didn't want to hurt their feelings, so they let the Ito family go. But instead of being grateful, the Ito family worsened their behavior and refused to change despite repeated admonitions. Therefore, the Jingu family hopes to become a political ally with the Donghua Chen family. If the Ito family does something offensive again at certain critical moments in the future, they hope that the Chen family will take action. In order to show the Jingu family's intention to form an alliance, the Jingu family is willing to divide two cities in Sakura country as direct fiefs of the Chen family. All taxes will go to the Chen family, and Chen Jun will be given the title of Earl in the name of the royal family. Besides, Chen Jun, my sister Yukino has always been the most beautiful woman in Sakura country, and she has always admired you very much. If possible, I hope to have a romantic marriage with you before returning to the country. It is naturally impossible for Jingu Fengyuan to tell all the national policies of Sakura country, so he is naturally vague about some sensitive matters. Immediately, the conversation changed to giving land, money, girls, and guns. However, Shangong Fengyuan heard that although Chen Beiyuan was young, he was a lustful person, and he was extremely talented. And the taste is so peculiar that even women from foreign races are not spared, and they even had a romantic relationship with a beast that took the form of a beast. For this kind of people, naturally you have to give in to them, rot them bit by bit, and pull them into your own camp. And Jingu Yukino is an excellent gift. In the face of family interests, a so-called woman is naturally nothing. Seeing Chen Beiyuan's gaze, Jingu Yukino, who was serving at the side, instantly turned crimson and lowered her head shyly, looking like a gentle and submissive Yamato Nadeshiko. Okay, the Jingu family is really generous. Chen Beiyuan couldn't help but clapped his hands and nodded with satisfaction, but actually he laughed angrily at the Shingu family's ignorance. Xiang was obviously beaten by the Itu family, his face was swollen, and he still pretended to be aloof. Can you die if you don't brag? Still want to form an alliance? You just want to win over the Chen family with such a few things? Are you here to send beggars away? The land given by the Jingu family was not as big as his pasture on the border of the empire. Also the Earl of Sakura country, my good young master of the Chen family, the future head of the Chen family, is not the marshal of the empire, and I will serve you as a count in a broken island country? Only Jingu Yukino, the hot weapon that came to his door, could barely catch his eye. But he, Chen Beiyuan, is short of women? It doesn't look like you're in an alliance with me. On the contrary, it's like a feud. Moreover, do you have the strength and capital to form an alliance with my Chen family? Still want to play the trick of driving the tiger to devour the wolf and acting as a check and balance? Are you daydreaming about this? I originally thought that you were so secretive because you planned to switch sides on behalf of the Jingu family and become a dog for the Chen family. But whenever this happened, he reluctantly agreed. As a result, you don't want to be a dog, but you still want to make the G decision. No wonder the Ito family slaps you in the face again and again. It's so hard. You really deserve it. What's even more outrageous is that the Jingu family now doesn't even know that Ito Ryu wanted to kill him, which shows their incompetence and intelligence. A trash of little value. If it can't even be a dog, then it really is a dead end. At this moment, Shangong Fengyuan did not notice the ridicule on Chen Beiyuan's face, but instead spoke excitedly. Then Mr. Chen agreed? That's natural. The Jingu family gave such a generous gift, so why wouldn't I be moved? Chen Beiyuan spoke meaningfully, his eyes wandering over Jingu Yukino's body, and his fiery gaze made her lowered head tremble slightly, a little uncontrollably. But Chen Beiyuan suddenly looked away, as if he remembered something, and looked at Shangong Fengyuan in front of him with a kind expression, without the slightest courtesy. By the way, Your Highness Fengyuan, how did I hear that the most beautiful woman in the Sakura Kingdom is your mother, the queen of the Sakura Kingdom, Jingu Fire Dance? To be honest, I prefer ripe peaches to green peaches. I wonder if Beiyuan has the honor to spend a spring night with your mother, Queen Fire Dance of the Shrine. If your mother is willing, then I think forming an alliance shouldn't be a problem. As soon as these words came out, the smile on Jingu Fingyuan's face froze instantly and turned red as if he had been slapped several times. Xingong Fengyuan, I am Keone mother. Chen Beiyuan's few seemingly understated words were almost as if Ma Guoqing had sent a few friendly greetings to Tian Wenjing and had given several fierce greetings to the mother of Shengong Fengyuan in front of him. Jingu Fingyuan's face turned F*********** G green. Idiot. His Highness regards you as a brother and takes the initiative to give you my sister to try the gun. As a result, you want to attack my birth point? I want to sleep, His Highness's Queen Mother. Putting aside the question of whether your mother would agree or not, whether your father would like it or not, he, Jingu Fengyuan, was the first to refuse. He had never tried it since he was a child, so how could he let an outsider try it? His Queen Mother, Jingu Fire Dance, is the most beautiful woman in the Sakura Kingdom. Not only does she have a noble and charming temperament, but she is also kind-hearted. Her appearance and figure are among the best in the world. She also has a broad mind and the noble status of the queen, the dream goddess in human eyes. Even the old dog Ito Rukushi, as a top powerhouse, covets his queen mother, but he has never been able to do so. It's a pity that his father injured his kidney essence in his early years, which resulted in an unspeakable secret. Except for the wedding night, he rarely had S**X with his mother, which led to his mother staying alone in the empty room for decades. But even though she has been lonely for many years, the Queen Mother has always kept herself clean and has never done anything to disgrace her father. In the eyes of Jingu Fengyuan, his mother-in-law is the most perfect woman in the world. He had always wanted to help her, but he was afraid of being beaten to death by his father, so he could only bury his admiration deep in his heart and did not dare to show it at all. Now, Chen Beiyuan's move undoubtedly angered Lin and Shengong Fingyuan's heart, causing him to have a murderous intention. He thought that his murderous intention was very secret. But what he didn't expect was that as soon as his murderous intention emerged, Chen Beiyuan's Yai soul sensed it in advance. The expectant smile on Chen Beiyuan's face remained unchanged, but there was a hint of amusement and joking in his heart. For the sake of the great cause of the Jingu family, Jingu Fengyuan decided to endure it for now, forcing a somewhat gentle fake smile on his face. Chen Jun is joking. My mother is very old, but she is just as beautiful as a plum blossom. His Royal Highness Fengyuan is in his 30s this year. He must have been the crown prince for nearly 30 years. Chen Beiyuan raised his hand to interrupt Shengong Fingyuan's words, with a strange smile on his face, and asked an extremely subtle question. Shengong Fingyuan's pupils shrank, the fake smile on his face froze, his eyes fixed on Chen Beiyuan in front of him, and his tone instantly became solemn. Chen Jun, what do you mean? How can there be a 30-year-old prince in the world? Chen Beiyuan's eyes were dark, and he spoke without any surprise. Now is the autumn of the world. It is the best time for young people like me to step onto the stage of history, make drastic changes, and carry out reforms. Has His Highness Fengyuan never thought of going further? If you can find a strong ally for the Jingu family this time, someone within the Jingu family will surely see your ability. If you add the support of the Chen family behind me, I heard that your father, Heavenly Sovereign, seems to be in poor health and has a somewhat indecisive personality. He is not like a bright master. Maybe it would be better to change a bright master to take charge of the Jingu family? Your Highness Fengyuan, have you ever thought about making the Jingu family great again? Going further? Change Mingzhu? In charge of the Jingu family? Make the Jingu family great again. The bewitching voice with its strange demonic nature constantly impacted the heart of Jingong Fengyuan. It directly hit the most primitive desire and greed deep in his heart. Men are power creatures. Jingu Fengyuan has been the crown prince of the Sakura Kingdom for 30 years. How could he not want to go one step further and achieve the supreme position of Heavenly Sovereign? But his father, Heavenly Sovereign, is now in his prime and will live for at least another 100 or 200 years. Because of the hidden disease, heavenly sovereign of the God Palace lost his dignity as a man, and at the same time, his desire for power almost reached a pathological level, and he was unwilling to let go of power even to death. Jingu Fengyuan predicts that he, the royal prince, may be able to remain in office for another 100 or 200 years, and may even leave before his father. But who is willing? Chen Beiyuan's words undoubtedly inspired his ambition. Sakura people have always had the inverse character of downcoming overcomes superior and son's godfather in their bones. If his father died suddenly due to poor health, then the possibility of him ascending to the throne is almost 100%. Xin Gong Fengyuan's murderous intention towards Chen Beiyuan was instantly forgotten, and even his admiration for his mother disappeared. In the face of power, some necessary sacrifices are allowed. Presumably the Queen Mother can also understand him. Besides, it's just a one-night snack, so there shouldn't be any serious problems. As long as you can get the support of the Qin family and ascend to the throne of Sakura Kingdom, not to mention just one night, even if it takes a year and a half, it will be worth it. My mother has been a widow for many years, but there is no desire in my heart. As a son, he is just taking care of his mother's worries. Moreover, Chun Jun is still so young, so he must be very capable in that regard, and he can also satisfy his mother-in-law. Jingu Fengyuan constantly used filial piety to convince himself of his treasonous thoughts. At the same time, he was also thinking about how to convince his mother to fulfill his heavenly sovereign dream. Father Chen, no, Mr. Chen, this matter is too involved. Can you let me think about it again? Fengyuan, I'm not in a hurry. Take your time. Take your time. We'll all be friends in the future. You don't have to be too restrained. Chen Beiyuan stood up and kindly patted the shoulder of Shen Gong Fengyuan, who was lame in front of him, and spoke with a hint of fatherly love in his eyes. Just think about it here. Yukino and I went to the backyard to talk about life. A young girl like her is prone to getting confused. She needs someone to help her clear up her confusion. Your Highness Yukino, lead the way. Jingu Yukino, who was serving at the side, suddenly blushed with embarrassment when he heard these pointed words, and his foggy blue eyes became a little blurred, as if they were covered with a layer of mist. She stood up obediently, stood in front of Chen Jun obediently, and led the way. Chen Jun, please come this way. As the two left, Jingu Fengyuan still sat there without saying a word, and a shadow covered his face, making it unclear whether he was happy or sad. His eyes flickered, as if he was making a final weighing of the pros and cons. Finally, he took a deep breath and seemed to have completely made up his mind. Mother, please. For Jingu Fengyuan, as long as he can obtain power, he will become the new heavenly sovereign of the Sakura Kingdom royal family and become the supreme being. Even if you give your mother to others for a short period of time, it is not a big problem. Besides, Chun Jun is still so young, so the Queen Mother is not at a disadvantage. However, when he thinks of his admired mother crouching in front of a Donghua man who is much younger than him, groveling, letting him manipulate her, and being reduced to a plaything, Xin Gong Fengyuan always feels an inexplicable feeling of distress and an unnoticeable feeling, a sense of excitement. All of these are sacrifices that must be made to make the Jingu family great again. As the future Jingu heavenly sovereign, I, Jingu Fengyuan, will definitely be able to lead the entire Jingu family and the entire Sakura Kingdom to a new peak and set foot on the top of the world. The Sakura people are destined to be the greatest clan in the world. Ito Ryuyu, Chen Beiyuan, everyone who stands in my way will become my stepping stone to the throne. His eyes were wild and he roared almost madly, like a completely crazy gambler. Deep in his heart, an inconspicuous evil thought took root and sprouted like a seed, expanding its influence. I thought I overestimated the bottom line of the Sakura people, but I never expected that they seemed to have no such thing as a bottom line. Jingu Fengyuan, the crown prince of the Sakura Kingdom royal family, for the sake of power and status, he would even send his mother to someone else's bed. He is such a filial son. I just don't know what his father Jingu, heavenly sovereign, and his mother Jingu Huowu will think after learning about the thoughts of this filial son. It's really an exciting scene. He is a crazy gambler who puts everything on the line at every turn. Chen Beiyuan's eyes suddenly glowed with a glint, and an evil smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. At this moment, Shengong Fengyuan, who was still dreaming of the heavenly sovereign dream and regained the Shengong family, did not know that he was like a joke in Chen Beiyuan's eyes. Shengong Fengyuan actually believed what he said casually? What a greedy, brainless idiot who only cares about small gains but no great righteousness. Moreover, I still can't figure out my position, and I don't even know how much I weigh. The so-called promise is nothing more than a piece of waste paper until it is fulfilled. Even if he doesn't do anything after playing, what can Jingu Fengyuan do? I originally thought I could support an obedient dog. Now it seems that with Jingu Fengyuan's brain, it's hard to be a dog. However, besides Jingu Fengyuan, it's not like there are no other alternative dog options. His eyes slowly fell on Jingu Yukino, who was leading the way, and his fiery gaze made the other person tremble uncontrollably. Soon, under the leadership of Jingu Yukino, the two walked directly into the courtyard of a Japanese wooden house with a rich cherry blossom style. Chunjun, this courtyard has been restricted by several 7th-grade formation masters from the Sakura Kingdom, and many magical weapons that block perception have been buried. No matter how loud the sound is, no one outside will hear it. Jingu Yukino blushed with embarrassment. Her foggy blue eyes seemed to be covered with a layer of mist, and her voice trembled slightly as she spoke, as if she had anticipated what would happen next. However, to her surprise, Chen Beiyuan did not pounce on her as quickly as she had imagined, tearing apart her clothes and carrying out brutal acts. I saw him standing there, his eyes clear and his face calm, looking at her like an abyss with no bottom. Chinjun, what's wrong? Jingu Yukino's face froze with shyness, and she felt that those abyss-like eyes could almost see through her completely. You planned and facilitated this meeting behind the scenes, right? That idiot Shengong Fengyuan may not have realized that he was being fooled around by his own sister. Jingu Yukino, you are a smart person. Considering the letter you sent before, and the fact that that idiot Jingu Fengyuan was so stupid that I was a little disappointed, I am willing to give you a chance. I'm not satisfied with Jingu Fengyuan's quotation. Maybe you can give me a surprise? Chen Beiyuan looked at her with a faint look, as if he had seen her true face under her shy face, and spoke meaningfully. From the beginning to the end, what really interested him was not Jingu Fengyuan, but the seemingly big-breasted and brainless Jingu Yukino in front of him. The other party dared to send an envelope to the Chun family that was careful of the Ito family before, which foreshadowed her ambition. As expected of Mr. Chun, he saw through my disguise at a glance. Jingu Yukino seemed to be a different person, completely taking off her disguise. The shyness and innocence on his face disappeared instantly, replaced by a hint of evil charm and cold arrogance. A pair of foggy blue eyes contained some complicated emotions. She walked up to him step by step and whispered, Chunjun, if I guess correctly, you have already known about the invasion plan of the Ito family. Although I don't know how you did it, the source of the news should be Ito Makoto. After she warned Chen Beiyuan before, she had been expecting him to come to her door in order to take the initiative and get a chance to negotiate. She knew very well that once the Ito family's invasion plan was successful, the Jingu family would be like grasshoppers after the fall, and they would not be able to survive for long. She had to do something. But Chen Beiyuan has not come to the door since she received the envelope, which made her heart fall into the abyss little by little. At the same time, she realized something even more terrifying. Perhaps, Chen Beiyuan had already known about the invasion plan. In fact, the upper echelons of the Donghua Empire had known about it for a long time. And the only possible channel for leakage must be Makoto Ito, who was arrested before. Then, the next plan of the Ito family is to seek death. The entire Sakura country may be buried with him. This is a doomed situation. But in Jingu Yukino's eyes, this is also an opportunity to reach the sky in one step. Continue. Chen Beiyuan's face was calm, and there seemed to be a hint of interest in his eyes. Sure enough, besides fools, there are still smart people in this world. Seeing that Chen Beiyuan did not deny it, Jingu Yukino's heart was excited. Xuana shuddered and instantly realized that he had guessed it right, and the cold and charming smile on his face became even brighter. Chunjun, as the royal family of the Sakura Kingdom, the Jingu family is willing to abandon the secrets and turn to the light, and serve as a pioneer for the king. At the critical moment, open the city gate defense line, welcome the king's troops to settle in, and eliminate the rebel party with evil intentions. Jingu Yukino did not hesitate to offer the family headed by the Ito family as a bargain, and expressed his intention to surrender. What an amazing bargaining chip, but the question is, can you represent the Jingu family? Chen Beiyuan's eyes flashed, and he looked at Jingu Yukino in front of him faintly, and finally a trace of fluctuation appeared on his face. Of course Yukino cannot represent the Jingu family, but if there is Chunjun's support, it will naturally be different. The Jingu family is the royal family of Sakura country. There has never been a female heavenly sovereign in the history of heavenly sovereign. Maybe I can be the first. A strange light appeared in Jingu Yukino's foggy blue eyes, and a touch of obsession and greed appeared on her charming face that resembled a snow girl. At this moment, she finally fully exposed her ambition. If this treacherous idea was known to the Jingu family, she would probably execute him without hesitation. The proud Sakura people would not allow a woman to become their heavenly sovereign. What an amazing ambition. So the question is, why should I support you? What can I gain? A hint of emotion finally appeared on Chen Beiyuan's face, and he finally began to look squarely at the ambitious woman in front of him, and the smile on his face grew stronger. He seemed to smell the smell of the same kind. Snapped. Jingu Yukino suddenly knelt down. The cold arrogance on his face instantly turned into obsession and surrender, and he lowered his head. Chenjun, you will get the entire Jingu family, even the entire Sakura country, and a dog named Jingu Yukino. Jingu Yukino is an ambitious woman. Her ambition is no less than that of a man. Since ancient times, men have conquered the world and women have conquered men. On the road to success, women always have more special and simpler shortcuts. However, unlike some idiots, she has enough knowledge about herself and also knows what she is doing and what she can do. The Sakura Kingdom ship is obviously going to be capsized. I'm afraid those idiots from the Ito family, Fukada family, Inoue family, Yukino family, etc. have not realized the seriousness of the matter and are even still in the dream of fantasy. They did not realize at all that in front of the behemoth Donghua Empire, the size of Sakura Kingdom was too small. If the invasion plan hadn't been leaked yet, Sakura country still had a slight chance of success. But someone in the upper echelons of the Donghua Empire had obviously known about the invasion plan for a long time. Then, the next thing that will greet Sakura country is disaster. If they relied on that idiot Jingu Fengyuan, the Jingu family would be dead. At this time, only she can save the Jingu family. Only she can save the entire Sakura Kingdom. Sakura country is destined to be proud of her. To this end, she is willing to make sacrifice. She is willing to offer this Jingu family, and even the entire Sakura country, as a gift. Imagine that a queen who is supreme among the Sakura people, arrogant and majestic, like a god, is kneeling in front of you like an obedient dog, wagging her tail and begging for mercy, serving the Lord. Even if you abuse her in every possible way, she will be willing to. Jingu Yukino's face was full of obsession and desire, and she suddenly raised her head and let out a flattering whine. Ha ha ha, she is such an ambitious woman. You can figure out how to play the white wolf with nothing. Chen Beiyuan showed an evil smile and seemed to be feeling a little emotional. From the beginning to the end, Jingu Yukino was using his hands empty-handed. The so-called entire Jingu family and the entire Sakura country seemed like an extremely rich and sweet cake, but all of this was based on the premise that she would become the queen. In other words, her only chip is herself and her loyalty. And if Chen Beiyuan wants to get the entire Jingu family, and even the entire Sakura kingdom, he has to push her to the top. Everyone, do you have a sense of déjà vu? Painting. She's painting cakes. This is the first time for Chen Beiyuan to have someone paint a cake for him. He used to draw cakes for others, but now, someone actually drew cakes for him. The world is really big and full of wonders. From the beginning to the end, Jingu Yukino has only one purpose, and that is to become the queen of Sakura Kingdom. As for the rest, she doesn't care. She can be a dog, she can lead the way, she can betray her country. As long as she can get to the top and sit in that position, she will give everything. She just wants to be the queen and restore the Jingu family. What's wrong with her? Ha, 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 ha. Greedy enough. Chen Beiyuan looked at the dog at his feet that was greedily eating meat and bone sticks and was unwilling to let go. The appreciation and affection on his face became more and more obvious. They all came from the same place. Jingu Fengyuan was like a fool, but Jingu Yukino was so scheming. The personalities of the two were almost like two different extremes. If their genders were swapped, Jingu Yukino would have a chance to restore the Jingu family. Unfortunately, she was a woman. The old guys in the Jingu family would not let a woman suppress them. In the Jingu family, Jingu Yukino had almost no chance to stand out. Her only role was to become a tool for marriage, to gain benefits for the family, and to become a plaything of some big man. If he remembered correctly, in the original work, Jingu Yukino had tried to eliminate the rest of the competitors through assassination and become the heir of the Jingu family. Unfortunately, she succeeded and failed. In the end, she was used as a tool for marriage by the Jingu family and wanted to marry Ito Makoto to almost ease the relationship between the two families. At that time, Jingu Yukino, who saw no hope, did not choose to fall, but showed her strong side. On the day of the marriage, she committed suicide in public. A woman who was extremely strong in the original book showed her wild side at this moment. All this was really interesting. He stretched out his hand and scratched her chin. Jingu Yukino's face instantly showed a comfortable and happy expression. I am more and more curious about what kind of woman can give birth to you two brothers and sisters. One is as stupid as a pig, the other is as obedient as a dog. Both are supreme grade. Originally, Chen Beiyuan was not very interested in the queen of the Sakura Kingdom, Jingu Huawu, but now his interest has increased greatly. If he guessed correctly, Jingu Yukino's personality should be inherited from her mother. The daughter who has never had any experience has such an amazing performance. The queen who is known as the most beautiful woman in the Sakura Kingdom must be heavenly. I heard that the impotent man of Heavenly Sovereign hadn't touched her for decades. Hiss, she has been lonely and empty for so many years. If she explodes all at once, I'm afraid she can even take people's lives. So scary, so scary. If Chun Jun is interested, you can have another obedient dog after Sakura Country becomes yours. As expected of a brother and sister, the speed of Jingu Yukino selling her mother is also top-notch, without hesitation, more than 100 times more decisive than a hesitant idiot. With such a pair of filial children, Jingu Heavenly Sovereign will no longer have any worries, and the Fire Dance Queen will definitely be very happy in the future. But, Your Highness Yukino, it seems that I haven't promised you yet. Chen Beiyuan stroked her dog head and said in a playful tone, Boo. Mr. Chun, whether you agree or not, Sueno is willing to be your most obedient dog. Snowy Jingu's eyes were obsessed, and she seemed not to see the playfulness on the man's face, and she spoke with determination. She has already placed all her treasures on the man in front of her, and the next step depends on fate and means. It must be said that the desperate, gambler character in the Sakura people deeply affects them at this moment. Mr. Chun, you are from Donghua, and Sueno is from Sakura. Some people may have forgotten some things, but you, as the young master of the Chen family and the future high-ranking official of the empire, should still remember them. Snowy Jingu slowly stood up, came in front of him, raised her head, and muttered to herself, Sueno has a question to ask Mr. Chun. Mr. Chun, do you love your country? Oh, you actually asked me this? Chen Beiyuan suddenly showed a malicious smile on his face. Pop! The lights in the room suddenly went out. Is Chen Beiyuan patriotic? Of course it is love. As the future marshal of the empire and the top big shot, he naturally has a deep love for the land of Donghua Empire. Of course, when it comes to patriotism, everyone has his or her own way of loving. Naturally, it's all different how we love. For Chen Beiyuan, Any stubborn enemy who dares to harm the Donghua Empire must be completely eliminated physically and mentally with the harshest and most ruthless means. Those who are stubborn and ambitious like the Ito family must be destroyed humanely. Of course, for people like Jingu Yukino who are willing to abandon the darkness and turn to the light, accept transformation, and completely surrender, then they can be tolerant appropriately. As for how to transform it, it is naturally to inject patriotic energy. Some things must go deep to completely pull out the things inside the bones. If you don't go deep enough, you won't be able to see something clearly, and you won't be able to see a person's true face clearly. A saint once said, "Knowledge and action are unified, and investigation of things leads to knowledge." Just knowing is not enough. You also need to take action and use actions to practice and prove. Explain. Do you love Donghua or not? Love Donghua or not? Love Donghua or not? I made you not love. Sakura Country, Imperial Palace. The heavenly sovereign of the shrine, who was wearing a yellow royal robe, was currently flipping through the memorial in his hand and stamped it with his own stamp to indicate that he had read it. I saw that the nominally supreme monarch of the Sakura Kingdom had smooth skin, a white face and no beard, bright eyes, and solemnity. At a glance, he had the majesty of a king. However, these are just superficial disguises. In the eyes of many big figures in Sakura Country, the heavenly sovereign is nothing more than a puppet. Most of those so-called memorials are first submitted to various parties for review, and finally, they are submitted to the heavenly sovereign of the shrine to be stamped and just go through the motions. Only the decision-making power on some trivial matters would be ignored and left to the heavenly sovereign. But even if it was just a formality, the heavenly sovereign of the divine palace was still very serious and did not slack off at all, as if he was the supreme emperor of this country. Ever since he suffered an accident that damaged his kidney essence and lost his dignity as a man, he has become more and more obsessed with power and refuses to let go of even a little bit of power. Although he has been bullied many times by the old monster Ito Ryu over the years, he is still accumulating strength, looking for opportunities, and recovering the Jingu family. I wonder how Yuaner's negotiations with the Chun family are going? If we can get the support of the Chen family, we can further check and balance that old monster Ito Ryu, so that the Jingu family will no longer have to worry about anything. According to the information from the lurking dead men, the Ito family has begun to make big moves secretly. The Jingu family must speed up. There will definitely be a danger of being left behind. Divine Palace Heavenly Sovereign is calm and dignified on the surface, but deep down he is like an ant on a hot pot. Obviously, the Ito family put great pressure on him. If the Jingu family didn't have the means to check and balance each other, they would probably die miserably. As for Shungong Fingyuan's contact with Chen Beiyuan, he naturally knew everything about it. Suddenly, a shadow martial warrior suddenly appeared in front of him and delivered a letter to him. His Majesty Heavenly Sovereign is the secret blood letter of His Highness Fengyuan. Blood secret message. As the name suggests, it is a letter encrypted by blood. If you want to decipher the content inside, you must have the corresponding content. Shrine Heavenly Sovereign was overjoyed, knowing that urgent information must have come from Yuaner, and it must be related to the Chun family's alliance. He calmly took the envelope and asked the shadow martial warrior in front of him to step back, then looked through the contents with excitement. However, the next moment, the white and beardless face of Divine Palace Heavenly Sovereign instantly turned livid, and there seemed to be a flash of green light above his head. "How dare you insult me?" In the secret letter, Shungong Fengyuan briefly explained Chen Beiyuan's request to sleep with him. Shungong Fengyuan said that Chen Beiyuan originally wanted to sleep with his mother for a year and a half, but after his argument, he changed it to just one night. Of course, Shungong Fengyuan is not stupid. He just said about sleeping. As for Chen Beiyuan's willingness to support him to become the new heavenly sovereign, he didn't mention a word. He's not that crazy yet. But even so, for the Divine Palace Heavenly Sovereign, this is a huge humiliation. Under normal circumstances, if someone wants to sleep with your wife, who can bear it? Most people definitely can't stand it. But the Divine Palace Heavenly Sovereign is obviously not an ordinary person. After careful consideration, he still feels that he can bear it. For the great cause of the Shingu family, Huo Wu will definitely understand me. Compared with the great cause of the royal family, a mere wife can still be sacrificed. It's just one night, it's not a bad time anyway. Just think of it as a car that hasn't been driven for many years and have it maintained and lubricated. Heavenly Sovereign, who has a heroic nature, comforted himself very freely and immediately handed the secret message in his hand to the guard next to him. Give this letter to the queen. Obviously, the heavenly sovereign of the divine palace has made some kind of psychological preparation. However, at this moment, Jingu Heavenly Sovereign has not yet realized that he has been tricked by his son Jingu Fengyuan. Jingu Fengyuan had expected that his father would have a high chance of finally compromising. Therefore, he deliberately deleted some aspects of the transaction that were beneficial to him. What is this called? This is called using your wife to handle my affairs. Those who leave belong to the public family, and the profits are their own. Harem. A plump, white-skinned, stunningly beautiful woman wearing a purple royal robe, with a broad mind and a coquettish temperament was sitting on the tatami, looking at the contents of the secret blood letter in her hand with an expressionless face. When this letter appeared in front of her, it meant that her husband and son had an almost acquiescence attitude. When she thought that she actually had to sleep with a child who was younger than her own son, the charming and beautiful woman only felt aggrieved and angry. A kid with a bigger, but would dare to covet her. However, when she saw a photo sent by her servant, Chen Beiyuan's handsome and evil face, strong and energetic body, Gulu, getting more angry. Magic City, Azure Group. Master, this is the Magic City, and it is also where we start again. This is one of the largest international cities in the Donghua Empire. We must be able to collect some materials to resurrect you. Lin Xiao stroked the Xian ring in his hand, with a somewhat obsessed expression on his face, and whispered softly. Xian Jia also responded with a faint light. Obviously, Lin Xiao got along well with his Bo Gang fairy master during this period. Lin Xiao did not regret his choice to leave the imperial capital, and was even very glad that he had made the right choice. The power of the Chen family behind Chen Beiyuan is so terrifying that even the royal family, the Jiang family, dares to confront him head-on. Even with the Lin family backing him, they may not be able to protect him. In the imperial capital, he couldn't fight against the opponent at all, and he didn't even have the ability to fight back. He was being manipulated to death. Instead of sticking to the imperial capital, it would be better to leave the magical capital. As the saying goes, the sea is vast and the sky is high enough for birds to fly. Move the tree to death. People move and live. If I can't beat you, I'll run away. Let's develop a wave of obscenity first. Of course, except for Chen Beiyuan, the great demon king. There is also a small part because of the Lin family's third Shaolin Jiuxiao. This damn, despicable double plug doesn't know if he tasted the sweetness in the hotel last time. He has been obsessed with him and wants to renew their relationship with him. As a result, after he returned to the imperial capital, he didn't even dare to go back to the Donghua Lin family for fear of losing his butt. At the same time, in order to prevent his master Bai Yueguang from knowing about his dark history, Lin Xiao finally resolutely chose to leave away from home. Coincidentally, the Weilong group he had established was developing in full swing in the international city of Shanghai. It had already formed a business empire. It had a foundation and would not lose its place to stay. Although the international city of the Magic City is not as hidden as the Imperial City, it is unfathomable. You can easily encounter the existence of those nobles from the sky. But it is also entrenched by dragons and snakes, and there are some powerful aristocratic families that dominate one side. There are also the existence of certain factions, as well as interest groups from various countries, cannot be underestimated for me today. During this period, Weilong Group has been able to develop so well, with a market value of nearly 100 billion, all thanks to the second lady of the Lin family. If she hadn't come forward, the original Weilong Group would have been easily divided up by those big shots. As the chairman of Weilong, I have to pay a visit at home? Lin Xiao thought to himself. These days, no matter how rich you are still a pig in the eyes of the big shots, no matter how rich you are. Previously, after the Weilong group began to rise, it was targeted by some second-generation people in the Magic City. For these second-generation people in the Magical City, if they want any toy, they can tell their family and someone will naturally take care of it. In less than a day, many senior executives of Weilong Group had accidents, one after another, and were directly invited to drink tea. After learning from the senior executives of these groups that this Chairman Weilong, who had never shown up and had a mysterious origin, was in the imperial capital, the arresting team was already on the way. At that time, he had just come out of the prison, was shot 3 times in a row, and was in a coma. He didn't even know what was going on, let alone that hundreds of murder cases suddenly appeared on his body. Shaolin Jiuxiao, the third member of the Lin family, was the first to receive the news. He was immediately furious and directly called his second sister in the Magic City to ask his second sister to come forward. If his pillow person is caught, it will be his Lin Laosan's face and his Lin family's face. As the second gun of the empire, if someone bullies the Donghua Lin family, how can it be tolerated? As the top family in the imperial city, the Lin family is undoubtedly a dimensionality-reducing blow to families like the Magic City. When the second young lady of the Lin family came forward on behalf of the Donghua Lin family, those behind the scenes were stunned. Damn it, I wanted to shoot a rabbit in the grass, but ended up hitting a giant prehistoric crocodile? Misunderstand. It's all a misunderstanding. It was because of the flood that the Dragon King Temple was washed away, and my own family members did not recognize their own family members. I'll punish myself with 3 cups first. Don't worry, the corresponding personnel have already handled it. If there are entities that should be least provoked in the Magic City, Lin Group must be one of them. Lin Group, as the money bag of the Donghua Lin family, it is responsible for all the Donghua Lin family's external business dealings. If anyone dares to touch the money bag that is the second gun of the empire, they will probably die miserably. Currently, Lin Group is personally managed by Lin Yunluo, the second daughter of the Lin family. Lin Group, President's Office. A beautiful figure leaning on an office chair was flipping through a document in her hand, looking at it carefully. She has long black hair and gold-rimmed glasses. She has a stunning appearance, a tall figure, and slender legs. Her movements give people an impression of intellectual elegance and orchid-like temperament. Especially the pair of gold-rimmed glasses on her intellectual face gave her a sense of abstinence. This person turned out to be Lin Yunluo, the president of Lin Group. Suddenly, there was a gentle knock on the office door, and the female secretary opened the door and walked in. President Lin, there is a man downstairs who claims to be the chairman of Weilong Group and wants to see you. By the way, he said his name is Lin Xiao, and he is from the imperial capital. Lin Xiao? Third brother's best friend? Lin Yunluo, who was flipping through the documents, paused, and something strange flashed through his intellectual eyes behind the gold-rimmed glasses, as if he remembered the identity of the person coming. Obviously, she also knew something about her third brother. In other words, the entire Lin family knows about the things about Lin Jiuxiao and Lin Xiao. If something like Long Yang's goodness happened to ordinary people, it would be disgraceful. But if it happens to a powerful upper-class person, it is an elegant and interesting thing. Bring him up. Although Lin Yunluo had no interest in Lin Xiao, for the sake of her third brother and certain things, she still decided to meet him. Soon, Lin Xiao was taken to the office. The moment he saw the ascetic and intellectual beauty wearing gold-rimmed glasses in front of him, even though Lin Xiao was firm in his heart, he couldn't help but feel his heart pounding, and he was stunned for a few seconds. Although he has long known that the second Miss Lin family was one of the 4 beauties in Yinjing along with Bai Ruowei, Zhang Yunhua, and Leng Ruobing, he has never seen. Now that I see it, it is indeed extraordinary. Such a stunning face is no less impressive than Bai Ruowei and Zhang Yunhua. The sense of abstinence on his body gives people a feeling of wanting to conquer. The moment he saw Lin Yunluo, Lin Xiao suddenly felt that he had fallen into the river of love again. Snort. The mysterious ring in his hand suddenly flashed with a faint light, expressing dissatisfaction. But Lin Xiao, who was obsessed with beauty at the moment, didn't notice the anger of his master Bo Gang and showed a smile that he thought was handsome. Second Miss, my name is Lin Xiao. I am Zhixiao's friend. I came here to thank Second Miss for helping me, whether it's the previous help or the future development in the Magic City. He needed Lin Yunluo in front of him to help protect him, so he naturally needed to leave a good impression on the other party. Of course, it would be better if we could capture the distinguished second lady of the Lin family in front of us. However, the first words Lin Yunluo spoke made him freeze in place. Lin Xiao, I know you. I heard that you were beaten by Beiyuan in the imperial capital. Backyard. Chen Jun. Sueno is wrong. Sueno is wrong. After experiencing some patriotic education from Chen Beiyuan, the deeply influenced Jingu Yukino said in a hoarse voice that she also loved Donghua. As the old saying goes, there is no plowed field, only tired oxen. However, Jingu Yukino just wants to say at this moment that this is all fart, and it will really break. As an ambitious woman, she once asked her mother for advice on various methods of conquering men and honed them. Although in the end he only learned less than 20% of his mother's fire, according to his mother, it was enough to conquer any man in the world. This is why she is so confident. As long as she conquers the man in front of her, her dream of becoming a queen will be half achieved. At that time, her ambition will be completely released. Unfortunately, she met the monster Chen Beiyuan. Her confidence lasted less than 3 minutes before it was severely shattered. At this moment, she clearly experienced the feeling of life is worse than death. When Chen Beiyuan treats Bai Ruowei, Zhang Yunhua, and Leng Ruobing, he is more gentle. After all, they are all his own. But when it comes to treating Jingu Yukino, a native of Sakura country, he is not so polite. After all, Donghua Empire and Sakura Kingdom have a blood feud. You like being a dog, right? Then I will fulfill you well. Anyone who has trained a dog knows that if you want to make a dog obedient and completely recognize its owner, the simplest and most direct way is to directly use violence and use the most primitive fear to make it surrender. The indispensable part of dog training is the use of a big stick. No matter how unruly the dog is, if he is hit with a stick, he will be beaten until he howls and screams. If one stick is not enough, give another stick. If one stick is not enough, give another stick. Dare to show your teeth? Dare you scream? Then keep fighting. Want to run? Then press him to the ground and beat him hard. Clean it up hard. Beat him until he becomes submissive. Beat him until he becomes incontinent. Beat him until he is obedient with all his heart. Of course, in addition to physical fear, mental PUA is also essential. And coincidentally, as a complete demonic cultivator, Chen Beiyuan never lacks special mental skills. Under the impact of the constant influx of terrifying demonic thoughts, the target's mental state instantly sank. Magic City, Magic City. In recent years, most of the secret agents from all over the world have been lurking in the Magic City. They have bought a lot of secrets from the Donghua Empire through various channels, and most of the secret agents from the Sakura Kingdom are also among them. Many big names in the upper echelons of Magic City have connections with people from Sakura country. The Ito family has bribed many people over the years. The Lei family in the magical capital, the Yu family in the magical capital, the Su family in the magical capital, the Lin family in the magical capital, and the Chun family in the magical capital. Some time ago, it was suspected that the Ito family obtained some structural diagrams of the military buildings in the third theater zone of the Donghua Empire through some means. Under the dual physical and mental torture, Jingu Yukino also fell into collapse. She rolled her eyes and told everything she knew intermittently. These are important information that she plans to use as bargaining chips next. Now, he was forced to shake it off. According to her, most of the aristocratic families in the entire Magic City have connections with the Sakura Kingdom. No, it's not so much connected to Sakura country as it is inextricably linked to all countries. This is not surprising. As long as the benefits are sufficient and the price is right, for some people, some things can naturally be sold. When he heard Magic City Chen family, the movements of Chen Beiyuan's hands instantly stopped. His expression changed slightly. His dark eyes instantly flashed with a strange light. and he murmured to himself, "The Chun family in the Magic City?" Chen Beiyuan is no stranger to the Magic City Chen family. In fact, he is very familiar with it, because it is a collateral bloodline of the Donghua Chen family. The reason why every top family can have huge influence in the entire Donghua Empire is because their collateral bloodlines are distributed everywhere. If the top aristocratic family as the main family says a word, the collateral branches occupying one side will respond one after another, which can be said to be huge. This is the fundamental reason why the top aristocratic families in ancient times were so terrifying that they could mobilize many troops at any time if something happened. However, if that were the case, Chen Beiyuan would not care so much about the side branch of the Demon City Chen family. What really concerned him were some things about the original plot. In the original work, the Donghua Chen family was targeted by all parties and almost destroyed. At that time, in order to inherit the legacy of the Donghua Chen family, the Donghua Lin family wanted to support people from the Chen family in the Magic City to become the main line of the Chen family, and then indirectly control all military power belonging to the Chen family. Being able to directly transform from a side branch to the main line and enter the upper echelons of the empire, the Chen family in the Demon City at that time naturally agreed without hesitation and voluntarily became a puppet in the hands of the Donghua Lin family in the name of the main line of the Chen family. Helped the Donghua Lin family to regain some military power. At that time, in order to ensure its position as master, the Chen family, which had just taken over the Demon City, sent many pursuers to hunt down and kill me, the young master of the Chen family, for fear that I would survive. As the old saying goes, you can't write two Chen characters in one stroke, but some people don't think much about it. Chen Beiyuan's eyes were deep and seemed to contain some strange emotions. He didn't know what he was thinking. This kind of Li Dai Tao Zong drama was also used by Li Shimin back then. As long as the main vein is crippled and the branch veins are supported to become the new main vein, all conflicts can be transferred and all power can be secretly controlled. Blindly killing and killing will not solve the problem. It is almost impossible to completely exterminate a family that has been passed down for thousands of years. In the history books, did Huang Chao, who burned his inner treasury to ashes and trampled all his bones in public affairs, really kill all the noble families? There is no way to kill all the powerful families. The Dragon Slayer finally becomes a dragon. It's like a historical cycle. What a bunch of rebellious guys. Chen Beiyuan didn't even have to think about it. Part of the structural diagram of the Third War Zone was most likely leaked by people from the Chen family in the Demon City. Only the Chen family members of the same bloodline can enter the Third Theater to check. You must know that the Third War Zone, as an imperial war zone directly controlled by the Donghua Chen family, on the one hand specifically provides a steady stream of troops for the border front, and on the other hand is a knife for the Chen family internally. It is an existence full of strategic significance. Lifeblood is not an exaggeration. Now, the person in charge of the Third Theater of the Empire is his father, Qin Zhiqing. Some people from the Qin family in the Magic City dared to sell part of the military structure map of the Third War Zone, fearing that they would become impatient. 100 years ago, the border defense map of the border front was leaked, which led to the breach of defense on the border front and the brutal attack by ferocious beasts and alien races. The entire Qin family suffered heavy losses and was injured. Now, it has been replaced by the military structure map of the Third Theater. It seems that some people are planning to repeat history. Originally, I was thinking of finding an opportunity to clean it up slowly, but now it seems that we have to clean it up together. It seems that I have to go to the Magic City for a visit. The Sakura people wanted to kill him, the young master of the Qin family, to create chaos, disrupt the layout of the border front, attract vicious beasts and alien races into the situation, frame the Qin family, and dismember the Donghua Empire. There are traitors colluding inside and outside the empire, betraying the Chen family's military organization map of the Third Theater, using secrets in exchange for benefits. There are powerful enemies outside who are eyeing you, and there are traitors and traitors inside who are causing chaos. The invisible spider webs have already been weaved, waiting for the target to be caught. The upper echelons of the Donghua Empire may not necessarily be unclear about some things in the Magic City, But in the final analysis, it is because of the interests of all parties involved, the exchange of favors, and the entanglements of various elements that they have always been concerned about some rotten hair. Turn a blind eye to the rotten meat. As the saying goes, keep a line with each other so that we can meet again in the future. Even the Jiang family, as the royal family of the empire, would find it difficult to deal with certain interest groups. Since all parties want to use me as a breakthrough point, then I will use myself as bait to lure all parties into the game and have a good time with you. I would like to see how many people want me dead. It's useless to keep the rancid and grunting rotten meat in the devil's capital. It's better to cut it clean all at once. Some people like to pretend to be deaf and mute and turn a blind eye, so let me do it instead. If a few people die, it's possible that we can destroy the country. Let's settle everything in the devil's capital. Chen Beiyuan's eyes were cold, as if he had penetrated the void, and saw a huge city that seemed to have lost all its prosperity, but was actually filled with the stench of decay. It is better to remove certain dirt in advance to avoid disgusting people from popping up at critical moments. People are always mean. When being beaten, he always screamed happily and miserably, with a look of death on his face. But once the opponent stops hitting, the person being hit will raise his head in confusion, as if wondering why he stopped hitting. This is a bit like Gosmole syndrome. As the saying goes, if the enemy moves, I will not move. If the enemy doesn't move, I will move. This is fully automatic. An hour later, Chen Beiyuan changed into new clothes as usual and threw the soaked and bloody clothes into the corner of the system space for storage. When he walked out of the yard, Fengyuan Jingu, who was guarding outside like a dog, immediately greeted him as if he had met his master. There was a hint of pleasant expression on his face. His waist was slightly bent, and he looked like a turtle. Chunjun, how is my sister-in-law's service? Are you satisfied? Although it's a little green, it can barely quench your temporary thirst. Chen Beiyuan smiled lightly. He looked meaningfully at Jingu Fengyuan, who was groveling in front of him, like a licking dog, as if he was not surprised. Sakura people have a character that sees small profits and forgets the great righteousness. The gene of forbearance is hidden in their bones. So what if you grovel? What if you send your sister to your mother? As long as he can help him rise to the top, Jingu Fengyuan can lick him as his own father. Don't you see? Jingu Yukino has already made many sacrifices for her dream of being queen. As long as originally, the emperor was unwilling to agree. After all, this matter is related to the reputation of the royal family of the Jingu family. But after my persuasion in many aspects, the father was finally able to agree. The emperor still reluctantly agreed. I just hope that Chinjun can show some mercy and not be too rough. However, due to the special status of the Queen Mother, she cannot go to the Donghua Empire. If Chenjun is willing, Fengyuan can arrange to send Chunjun to the Sakura Kingdom Palace through special channels. The Queen Mother will make preparations in advance. Shingong Fengyuan seemed not to notice the meaningful expression on Chen Beiyuan's face and continued to speak shamelessly. Having such a filial son like you is truly a blessing to the heavenly sovereign of the shrine and the queen of the shrine. Your Highness Fengyuan, don't worry. I will go to the Sakura Kingdom Palace, but not now. I have to go to the Demon City during this period. Please tell your mother that Beiyuan will go to her then. Of course, you and I won't forget the transaction. Chen Beiyuan was still a little surprised at the speed of Shungong Fengyuan's work. It didn't take long for him to convince his father to give him his wife. It's not easy to talk like this. However, this guy must be hiding something about the Laughing Hall. But none of this matters. He will definitely go to Sakura Country, but he will definitely not go there alone now. It's not like he was crazy. He ran to someone else's base camp alone. He might not know how he would die by then. When the time comes, he will definitely have to bring 100 million people with him before he can really go to Sakura Country. At that time, it will definitely give all Sakura people a big surprise. Seeing Chunjun's refusal, Shungong Fengyuan looked slightly stunned, but when he heard the last sentence, he secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Although I don't know why Chinjun went to the Magic City instead of Sakura Country, as long as the transaction continues. Chunjun, wait a moment. However, in order to make the relationship and the transaction stronger, Shengong Fengyuan gritted his teeth and took out a photo from his arms and handed it to Chen Jun, who was about to leave, with a smile on his face. Chen Jun, to be honest, Fengyuan has had a fiancée since she was a child. She has a gentle personality, good looks, and is still a virgin. She has always liked a stalwart man like Chen Jun. If Chen Jun is free in the future, can you help? Chen Beiyuan paused and looked up and down at Shengong Fengyuan in amazement, as if he wanted to get to know him again. He originally thought that Lin Xiao, the Wulong, was already the supreme grade in the world and would have difficulty meeting other opponents. Unexpectedly, he could actually meet another Feng Chu who was not inferior to Wulong, or even better. Send your sister to your mother and your wife. This was the first time he had seen such a self-disciplined talent. In front of Shangong Fengyuan, Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, looked bleak. Chen Beiyuan suspected that if he hadn't been so bad, Shengong Fengyuan would have dared to recommend himself. Fengyuan, helping others is the foundation of happiness. I accept your wishes. Chen Beiyuan patted him on the shoulder. He originally wanted to refuse, but when his eyes paused for a moment on the princess in the photo who had a mind comparable to Tsunade's, he accepted it smoothly. After all, it's the other person's heart. There's no need to hurt the other person's heart. Fengyuan, for the sake of being a friend, I will help you once, but I won't let you do it next time. Hi, I'm sorry to trouble you, Mr. Chen. Magic City. Lin Xiao walked out of the Lin group with a stiff look on his face, without the smile on his face just now. Just now, Lin Yunluo, the second lady of the Lin family, asked him in detail about the details of his beating by Beiyuan. For example, does Beiyuan hit you hard? Will his hand be red or painful if he hits you? Damn it. No matter how stupid he is, he can tell that this second young lady of the Lin family is probably related to Chen Beiyuan in some way. Chen Beiyuan. Lin Xiao is so angry. Lin Yunluo didn't know whether it was because of her low emotional intelligence, because she didn't take him seriously, or because of other reasons. She was always concerned about Chen Beiyuan's condition, as if she was afraid that Chen Beiyuan would suffer. Damn it, I'm the one getting beaten. It's me. Is it possible that my face can swell Chen Beiyuan's hand from being slapped? He finally understood. Judging from Lin Yunluo's affectionate address to Chen Beiyuan and his caring expression, if the two of them didn't have a bit of acrimony, even a dog wouldn't believe it. What makes him even more angry is that even he deliberately told Chen Beiyuan that there were many women around him. The second young lady of the Lin family just smiled in relief. Although there was a trace of disappointment in her eyes, her face was more filled with relief, an expression that she only wanted him to be happy. Hey, you're really sick, aren't you? I say that there are many women around him, and he is not clear with many of them. What does your expression of my Beiyuan is awesome mean? Warm girl? Licking a dog? Lin Zhao's heart almost broke when he thought that the goddess he was so passionate about was most likely the licking dog of his enemy. You don't play like this. Don't the Donghua Chen family and the Donghua Lin family have a grudge? How can you two be like this? I originally thought that I could escape Chen Beiyuan's shadow by coming to the Magic City. As a result, he was actually severely attacked mentally. Damn Chen Beiyuan, how many women do you have relationships with? When he thought that the women he was attracted to were all related to Chen Beiyuan, and they were licking each other more or less, Lin Xiao felt as if he had suffered a critical hit of 10,000 points. Snort. At this moment, the mysterious ring in his hand suddenly lit up. A cold snort suddenly appeared in his mind, instantly shaking away his grief and anger. Not good. Lin Zhao's face changed slightly, and he realized in an instant that he seemed to have lost his mind just now, forgetting that there was a fairy master on his body. You know, he spent a lot of time trying to make his fairy master happy, but now he has failed. Schwer. Shut up, who asked you to call me this name? A flash of light flashed through Xian Ring, and the cold voice sounded again. Obviously, the secretive fairy bow gang was angered by his traitor. I saw that inside the Xian Ring, a huge white mountain of flesh was trembling with righteousness, and a pair of mung bean eyes were full of icy coldness. I had agreed to call her Xiao Tian Tian, and I would only love her for the rest of my life. Nowadays, if you see an ugly person at random, you can't take your eyes away. Fortunately, I actually believed it before. Master, Shower is just obsessed for a moment. Please listen to me explain. In Shower's heart, you are the most beautiful. Lin Xiao couldn't care about anything else at the moment and quickly started to quibble. Whether it is for the support of the next cultivation or for getting out of singles in the future, you still have to count on your own fairy master, and you must not lose it. At this moment, Lin Xiao, who was talking sweetly, did not notice at all that the demonic thoughts on his shoulders had weakened a lot for some reason. Lin Group. A trace of evil thoughts remained in the position where Lin Xiao had just been sitting, silently looking at the intellectual and elegant figure in front of him who was quietly flipping through books and wearing gold-rimmed glasses. Chen Beiyuan, who had just returned to Chen's house and was checking on a sleepy little silly dragon, suddenly paused, with a complex look on his face, and murmured to himself, "Yunluo, I haven't seen him for several years. I didn't expect that he has changed so much. I almost can't recognize him." Obviously, through monitoring Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, he indirectly saw Lin Yunluo, the second lady of the Lin family in Shanghai. Chen Beiyuan's emotions for Lin Yunluo, the second young lady of the Lin family, are undoubtedly extremely complicated. Because this second lady of the Lin family is the fourth lucky heroine in the original work. At the same time, she is also the only one among all the luck heroines who got pregnant and gave birth to a child for him. Among the several luck heroines, Lin Yunluo is undoubtedly the weakest, almost at the bottom. Her real abilities lie in logistics management and business investments. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the Lin family to entrust her with the money back. Over the years, the Lin family has never been short of funds, and has even continued to expand to all parts of the world because of her contribution. Among the many lucky heroines, Lin Yunluo's character is undoubtedly the best and most stable among the heroines. She is the kind of person who pays silently in secret as long as the person she likes is happy. This kind of character, usually in xiaobai novels, belongs to the intellectual big sister or the dog-licking and warm-hearted girl. It's a pity that this kind of character will undoubtedly suffer a big loss when facing Bai Ruowei and Jiang Yunhua, these two heavyweight sick girls and idiots. When the two girls Bai and Jiang began to take the initiative, they even forced Beiyuan to cross and ride them fiercely. This intellectual and elegant elder sister is still considering Beiyuan's personal feelings and is unwilling to act like this. Normally, it would be difficult for Lin Yunluo to have any substantial contact with Chen Beiyuan until the end of the show. However, who made her fall in love with the cheating sister's third brother? In the original work, Lin Jiuxiao, a righteous friend, took the initiative to drug his sister in order to save Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, and gave it to the villain Chen Motu to humiliate her in exchange for Lin Zhao's life. This humiliation lasted for 1 day and 1 night. Afterwards, Lin Yunluo left alone and silently without any complaints. It wasn't until the late stage in the plot that Lin Yunluo, the lucky heroine, appeared again. At that time, there was also a little dumpling beside her. No one expected that Chen Beiyuan only gave it to her once and she would become pregnant. You know, for the stronger and stronger, the chance of giving birth to a descendant is too small due to physical problems. Bai Ruowei and Jiang Yunhua did not know how many times they had done this to Devil Chen, but they still had no results. As a result, Lin Yunluo was hit with 1 shot. The other lucky heroines were almost furious at that time. It was not until later that Devil Chen found out that Lin Yunluo was pregnant with some kind of special organ and was very pregnant. Ever since, Chen Beiyuan's first child was born. However, her nightmare is still not over. Since the Donghua Chen family was almost destroyed, Devil Chen would naturally not have a good impression of the Lin family, even if Lin Yunluo gave birth to a daughter for him. She was caught by the wandering Devil Chen and imprisoned. In the original plot, Lin Yunluo never received a single tenderness from Devil Chen, but was treated roughly and tortured repeatedly, as if he wanted to vent all his resentment on her. Lin Yunluo always accepted this silently. Whenever Devil Chen was defeated and defeated outside, she would always use her love to satisfy his animal desires. Only in front of her would Devil Chen show his most helpless side. The relationship between the two people can be said to be extremely complicated, with love and hate mixed with each other, entangled with each other, but also dependent on each other. Until later, Devil Chun was assassinated by Lin Xiao during an outing, and finally fell. Lin Yunluo, who had been waiting at home, never saw that familiar figure come back. Until the news of Devil Chin's death came, she fell into a deathly silence. She went to Bai's house and handed over the child who was waiting to be fed to Bai Ruowei to raise. Then, she committed suicide.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.